London Hott Radio.
Stop what you're doing, because it started. What started? It's episode 3 of the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show on London Hott Radio. How come? Because it's 4 o'clock on Monday, that's how come. If you're in your last hour of work, or if you're about to go into some painful piles removed from your nether regions, this show is guaranteed to make those two processes so much easier.
Who's rider, motorcycle hero? Baby's a blazing away.
So, why, you ask? Because we've got Hollywood legend John Perkins on the show. And that's not all. We've got exclusive inside information on the royal family from the station's royal correspondent Nick Saunders.
He's a screaming the truth.
And we've got phone-ins.
America's killing its youth.
And not only that, there's a chance to win £15,000 in our rollover quiz coming up at the next hour. Yes, America is killing its youth, but the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show is here to save you.
He's screaming away. America is killing its youth. America is killing its youth.
Woo!
That's right.
Woo!
That's right.
Start for today's show. What a fantastic evening and daytime we're going to have today. Woo. Well, we've got John Perkins on the show. What about that, ladies and gentlemen? The station has really been buzzing since we got the news from John's agent that he was going to be able to appear. We're really excited about that. And he's actually just coming in. Can you sit? Hey, John, here, come in. Sit down.
Hi, Anti-Duhring Battalion.
Sit down. Let me just.
That's better.
Let me just introduce our show. And boy, what a show we've got today. We will be hearing, before we go on to John, we'll be hearing a little bit from our royal correspondent. But before we do, let me just tell you about our world and what we are here on the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show.
Welcome to my world.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about the theme of today's show. As you know, each week we have a theme. Week 1 was war. Week 2 was love. And here we are on week 3 with Portrait of the Artist.
Still happen now and then. Step into my heart.
Now, as many of our listeners will remember, week 1 dealt with the harrowing experiences of World War I and World War II.
Welcome.
We were lucky enough to have Hollywood legend John Perkins call in the show and give us a very vivid description of what it was like to play a German soldier in the Hollywood epic Band of Brothers.
Knock and the door will open.
Now, as you can imagine, that brief appearance on the show really set the airwaves alight. And with some prompting from our station manager and some tough negotiations with John's agent, finally managed to get John Perkins to come into the station in person to review the current stories which are making the headlines and also to talk to us about some of his experience as a Hollywood superstar. Any big film over the last 10 years, you name it, John's probably been in it. And as you can imagine, the lines have been red hot. So we will try and get as many calls through to John as we can. If we don't manage to speak to you, please don't give up. Keep calling, and you never know, you might end up speaking to John Perkins live on London Hott Radio.
Waiting just for you. Welcome to my world. I hear the sound of distant drums far away, far away. And if they call for me to come, then I must go, and you must stay. So marry, marry me, let's not wait. Let's share all the time we can before it's too late. Love me now, for now is all the time there may be. If you love me, marry, marry, marry me. I hear the sound of bugles blow far away, far away. And if they call, then I must go across the sea, so wild and gray. So marry, marry me, let's not wait. For the distant drums might change our wedding day. And love me now, for now is all the time there may be. If you love me, marry, marry, marry me.
Beautiful, the beautiful sound of Jim Reeves there. Now, as everybody knows, each week we have the exclusive inside information on the royal family from our royal correspondent, Nick Saunders. Nick, are you there at the moment? Can you hear me?
Hello, Mr. Battalion. Hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, Nick. Absolutely fantastic to hear from you. And we really are very grateful for you to be able to give us this inside information on the royal family. And do you have anything for us this week, Nick?
Well, it's very, very reliable information. Really, really very, very reliable.
Oh, that's good to
I
know.
often see them in the bookies down in the local park, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, drinking orange juice from a can in a brown plastic bag.
Is this your your royal contact you're talking about?
Very, very reliable.
Oh,
I must admit that.
Nick, I just need to be clear. Is this the contact you're talking about, which gives you the information on the family?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
okay.
He hears things other people can't hear, and that's
Okay.
such a gift. Such a gift. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
We're truly blessed.
So
to have this
the
person.
information that he's getting, nobody else knows about, basically.
Nobody
Only
apart from me.
Only he gets it, and he tells it to you. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Has anything come up at all that's of
It's a rumour.
confidential? Yeah.
But keep this to yourself.
Right.
You know, just
Okay.
You and me, just keep this to yourself. Mum's
Right.
the word.
Yeah.
The Queen
Yes.
is pregnant, and it's not the King's, because the King has a bit of problems in that department.
Wow.
And so it's a love child.
Wow. Now, let me just be clear on this, Nick.
Yes.
This information that you've got,
Yes.
no one else has access to it. Okay.
No one at all. No one at all.
Now,
As
when did you first hear this piece of information, Nick? When did it first come to you?
over the weekend, you know.
Where were you? Can I ask where were you?
In the park, actually. You know, and the reliable source, you know, had a few cans of orange juice,
Right.
you know, to say the least.
Yeah.
And he was getting quite lucid and carried away.
Right.
And he just, you know, told me. He said, Nick, he said, I trust you.
Right.
But Nick, I hear things people cannot hear. So,
Right. Okay. So this information, this source is coming to him. He hears voices. Is that what you're saying, Nick?
Yes.
He hears voices.
In the middle of the night.
Right.
Yes. Voices when he was walking along the road.
Right.
And it's a true gift.
Right. Now, what has the king said about all this? Has there been anything?
Well, he's embarrassed.
He's embarrassed. Yeah.
And he tries to hide it from the rest of the palace.
Right.
But as it develops, you know, this little child, the Queen will have a bump. So
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. But
Right.
Mum's word. Mum's
Right.
word.
Okay, so we're the first to have this information, and this is really
Yes, but please,
absolutely breaking news that the
talk
Queen
about
is
it.
pregnant.
It's just
So-
between you and me,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay. No, Nick, believe me, this isn't going to go anywhere else. Everything that you say on live on air on London Hot Radio is going to stay there. It's
Right,
it's
right.
completely confidential. There's
Good.
And look, so your source, you're saying you met him originally in the bookies, and
Yes,
you've been
yes,
talking
yes.
to him in the park.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now, Nick, if you do hear any more information about, you know, what the king is going to be doing about this, and
Yes.
you will be, we will be the first to know. I take it.
Of course you will. Of course you will. And, Mr. Battalion, I'm quite worried, actually. Can I tell you about this?
Sure.
I'm not being paranoid, but people keep on following me in the last couple of days, and I think the game is up. And the spooky thing is, you know, the people that are following me are a master of disguises.
Right.
Sometimes they dress up and as a persona of an old age pensioner. Sometimes there's dress up as a woman, you know, wearing a pram, pushing a pram, and this is really, really getting, you know, worrying. And maybe it's the Secret Service.
That's
Maybe.
exactly what I was thinking, that it was the Secret Service, Nick, because they would be taking a very close interest on people like, you know, who do have inside information on the royal family like you do.
Right.
What we suggest is that you become very vigilant, Nick. That's the thing. That,
Right.
Now,
So should I barricade myself into the flat until next week?
I think that's a good idea. And Nick, let me just ask you: you're a person who goes around in London a lot, aren't you?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Now, do you find that do you use public transport, Nick?
Yes, very much so.
Do you find that sometimes when you're getting on the bus or something like that, there's people behind you that are pushing?
Yes.
And
yes.
do you ever wait in a queue to get served at the supermarket, saying there's people who push in?
You've got that gift, haven't you, that the reliable source has got.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is it. There's a lot of people that are very pushy. And
very pushy.
For that reason, Curtis Mayfield has written a song about this. This is Curtis Mayfield with Pusher Man.
Right.
Well, it's Curtis Mayfield there with Pusher Man, all about people who push in, and those are people that I just don't like, and I think I find very, very annoying. Now, I think we need to move along now to basically the theme of the show, which is Portrait of the Artist, which is we're fortunate enough to have Hollywood legend John Perkins in the show today. But as you can imagine, the lines have been red hot. And I've just got our first caller through. So, caller, are you there, please?
Hello?
Hello. You're through, caller. We've got John Perkins on the show today. Did that make you excited?
Yeah, I can hardly believe it, actually. He's actually there in the flesh.
He's in there in fresh. John, say something for us.
Oh, hi there.
Hello, John. It's a privilege to share the airwaves with you.
We're glad to be here. What's your name?
Do I actually have to say that in public? Go on then, I'll tell you. My name is James.
Hello, James. Nice. You're live on the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show on London Hot Radio.
Wonderful.
And James, you're a fan of John's work. You've seen many of his films.
Yes. I don't think a lot of people don't know, probably, that John has appeared in quite a lot of, major feature films.
Right.
I don't know whether you've spoken to him already, but things like...
well, I think everybody at the station knows. I mean, basically everybody knows who John is. But yeah, go ahead, James. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, things like Band of Brothers and Charlotte Gray, all that kind of thing.
Sure.
And a few other things that I'd never heard of. So, it's good to even have a very small connection with somebody like John.
And so like many of us, James, I suppose you've grown up with John's work, and it becomes.
Sorry, you're a little bit faint. I can't quite hear you.
Oh, I said, like many of us, James, you've grown up with John's work. It's become part of our everyday life.
Probably over 10 years now, maybe 13 years.
13 years. That was when you first saw him.
I first.
What was about his performance that you felt really what really connected with you, James, about John's performance?
Well, I didn't quite catch all that, but I think your question was what did I think when I first saw him? Is that what you're asking?
What was it about John's performance as a star, which first kind of like felt there's something different here?
Well, I think one of his best performances was in Life and Death of Peter Sellers.
Sure. I think everybody knows that one.
Yeah, because he was pushing a wheelchair with Charlize Theron in it, and she was taking the part of Britt Ekland.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask John a direct question about that, if I may.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just on that film, just before you do ask John, I'm not sure of the lead actor in that film, or the so-called lead. Do you remember his names? Do you remember his name, John?
Geoffrey Rush.
Geoffrey Rush. Can I just say, on behalf of everybody on London Hot Radio, John completely blew Geoffrey Rush off the screen. And it was a complete sham that John did not receive the Oscar for that award, for that performance. And, I believe, that's the I mean, I don't know how John you feel, but okay, let me put you through to John himself, James. Go ahead, ask him your question.
Hello, John.
Hi, James.
Hi. I was just wondering, when you were so close up to Charlize Theron, I mean, she's a top screen goddess. I was wondering were you actually able to control your animal urges when you were so close to her?
Well, there's a bit of a story behind that, James. A true story.
That's good. That's good.
That's a true story.
That's good. True stories are very good.
On the set, we were shooting that scene. The particular scene is when Charlize gets out of the car into a wheelchair, and she's rushed into the maternity unit. And before we rehearsed it, Cliff Lanning, the first assistant director, said to Britt Eklund, sorry, Charlize Theron, we're shooting the, what's that? I forgot the name of the film.
The Life and Death of Peter Sellers.
No, that was a film.
Oh yeah,
that was a film. But there was another film, one with a girl who crosses her legs.
Oh, I think you mean Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone, yeah. He said we're doing the Sharon Stone shot next because she had this really like mini skirt on, and that put her in her place basically. That humbled her, and she didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
So, James, you were just speaking to John Perkins there. How did it feel?
Well, I'm sat down actually, and it's just as well because one gets a bit shaky in the presence of people of such elevation.
James, are you? I mean, I was outraged about John not receiving the Oscar for that performance, and that Geoffrey Rush basically got all the credit. As we know, John's been through quite a lot of legal battles that he was actually removed from the credits of. He was removed from the credits from Band of Brothers, I believe. Is that right, John?
I wasn't removed. I wasn't put on.
Right.
They forgot.
Right.
I think you'll find that was removed. I mean, John. I mean, okay. I mean, you've been through a lot of legal wrangling with this, but I mean, for fans, we feel that basically the wrong people get the. No, David Schwimmer gets the Matthew McConaughey. Is it McConaughey? He was in it, wasn't he?
I can't remember. Damian Lewis is the main.
Damian Lewis.
Winters.
I mean,
he's all right though. He's nice.
Yeah. I'm not saying that as a person, but I do believe that removal of somebody who is integral.
They never put them on in the first place. What happened was, right?
John. Go ahead.
What happened was us Germans were trained before the shooting began, basically, on Band of Brothers in May. I think there was different kind of schedules of training. We had to do these like boot camp training for Band of Brothers, and I had my training in early May of 2000, and the other chats before us had their training before they started shooting, and a lot of people left, and so us new recruits basically didn't get on the credits, and those people, the people who were originally on it, a lot of them left and went to work on Four Feathers, the Shakir Kapoor film that was shot in Morocco.
A rubbish film.
Yeah, a rubbish film, which didn't really do anything. Actually, nearly broke Miramax Pictures.
Right. Exactly.
And they went there to Morocco to get suntans, and I stayed with loyalty, courage, determination, and selflessness, and cheerfulness in the face of adversity. And they put their credits on the film, and they weren't even on it in the last 5 episodes.
So, I mean, as we know, John's had to go through a lot of trauma and legal wranglings for
with
this,
HBO.
for being with HBO. Yeah, as he said, we're not going to dwell on that. Today's a day that we're really excited to have a Hollywood legend in the studio. Anyway, so James, you're a fan of John's. You're a bit more of a fan than John's. Obviously we're talking, staying within legality, but how far does your interest in John go exactly?
Well, he's a bit of an unusual man, John. He's and actually, what I've done over the years, I've got a bit of an artistic streak myself.
Yeah, autistic. Did you say?
And I've made a model of him, or rather, I've made a number of models of him. So
okay.
This is a bit embarrassing for me because I've never actually told John this. So
right, what you're saying, like life-size models, or just normal models, or what?
I didn't quite catch that.
Are you talking about life-size models that you've made of him, or?
Well, I started off with plasticine, and of course, life-size in plasticine is not easy. But I've tried matchsticks, but the trouble is, in my youth I had a bit of trouble with fire starting, so I'm under a promise not to mess with fire, so that's a bit of a no-go. But I guess my current thing is I've actually got a blow-up doll on the face of which I have a photo of John's face.
Right.
And, it does the business for me,
you should have brought that down to the station and we could have had a photograph with John with it. That would have been an absolutely fantastic photo opportunity, James.
I don't know about that.
But John's a modest man. I think what we were kind of like quite shocked about was the death of the Hollywood film star Philip Seymour Hoffman a couple of weeks ago. You know about that, James, of course.
Sorry, the death of which film star?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Who? Oh, yes, I know about that. Yes,
yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I just want to ask John. John, did you actually work with Philip Seymour Hoffman at all? Did you work with him?
Not I'm aware of.
No. I mean, but it must have, as a kind of like someone in the industry, someone, a fellow worker, how did it actually affect you when the news came through of his death?
I felt momentary sadness.
Yeah.
Momentary. I said a prayer and what I normally do, and that was it. I
Yeah.
felt more pain when Heath Ledger died.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we were just sort of like currently saying that on.
I met Heath Ledger.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the world does owe a lot to actors who are able to go that little bit extra as people like John and Philip Seymour Hoffman do. James, I'm going to thank you there. I think we're going to have to take another call.
Okay.
But thanks for being with us.
Yep. It's been a life-enriching experience. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's no problem. And on the subject of Philip Seymour Hoffman, we'd like to dedicate this track by The Air, underground cult band The Air, and this is The Air with Cold Turkey.
Bye, James.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Said I'm in a bad way. Oh God, I'm in a bad way. I said I'm in. You mustn't shoot myself again with that heroin. I said just another. It's all his fault. I said it's all his fault. I mustn't do this again. I mustn't do this again. Oh God, let me out. Let me out. I'm on a cold turkey. 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 It's about Sonny, all right? Cold turkey. Oh, I'm on cold turkey.
That was the Air with Cold Turkey, a tribute to Philip Seymour Hoffman, we lost a few weeks ago. This is the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show, live on London Hot Radio with Hollywood legend John Perkins in the studio. This particular episode is dedicated to Portrait of the Artist, and we've just had one of John's fans on the line talking to him, and we've got an opportunity to play a couple of tracks that John has picked out, which he feels are very significant to him and, represent an important part in his life. So we'll be playing the track, and then we'll be talking a little bit with John Perkins in a second, but let's hear the first track that John's chosen. Okay, here we go. Well, that was the Birdie song by the Tweets, which was the first selection that John picked for us today. John, why that song particularly?
Well, when I first heard that song, Anti-Duhring Battalion, it was a very emotional, moving, deeply moving experience, which,
Sure.
you know, it's one of those songs that you never forget. And every time I hear it, I feel a deep sense of longing and loss, but also joy.
Right.
I think it takes me back to when I was in my mother's womb.
Right. So, obviously, it's a kind of in a lot of ways, it's got like a lot of the joys of the world, isn't it? It's nature, it's birds singing, and I suppose it's got that kind of like vibrancy about it. Is that one of the things that you feel as an actor you connect with?
Well, as an actor, you have to draw on something, and for many of my performances, I draw on that song.
Right. Okay. That's so. Okay. So we're going to go to your next track, and it's quite a curious choice there, John. You've gone from the Tweets, the Birdie song, which is a classic. I think everybody believes, straight through to Isolation by Joy Division. Why that song, John?
Well, it's also a very moving song.
Different from the tweets, though, isn't it?
It is very different from the tweets. It's very, very different indeed. And one of the main differences is that, of course, Joy Division were a group from Manchester.
That's true.
And that's a city which I am very closely associated with.
And there's a lot of birds around in the area.
There are a lot of birds. And I went to, we went to the grave of
Ian Curtis.
And, as you know, he took his own life, and it's really sad. And there were a lot of birds around singing when we were in the graveyard.
Okay, so I'm seeing the connection there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a little listen to Isolation. Harrowing there. Joy Division with that classic track Isolation. We're here with John Perkins and on the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show on London Hott Radio. John's playing us some of his requested tracks, which kind of like best sum up his career. And we just heard two excellent selections, the Tweets, A Birdie Song, and Joy Division and Isolation. Your next track, John, is a curious choice as well. Back to Birds again, I see, with sorry, there's not much air in here. With it's a duck. Is it? Let's hear the track. It's I Wish I Could Fly. Is that right? I Wish I Could Fly. And let's hear the track. It's Keith Harris and a classic with.
I wish I could fly way up to the sky, but I can't.
You can.
I can't. I wish I could see what folks see in me, but I can't.
You can.
I can't.
Look.
Oh, Phil, yes?
Nothing that you can say will change how I feel today. I know that we'll never part. Now Now hear what I'm saying, Orville.
Yes?
Who is your very best friend?
You are.
I'm gonna help you mend your broken heart.
Thank you. I wish that I had a mummy and dad, but I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I often pretend my sadness will end, but it won't.
It will.
It won't.
Look, Orville,
Yes?
now that I'm here with you, there's nothing that you can't do. So why don't you make a start and hear what I'm saying, Orville?
Yes?
Who is your very best friend?
You are.
I'm gonna help you mend your broken heart.
Oh, so does this mean although I'm green and not exactly bright, you want to care and will be there to tuck me in at night?
But I'll always be there, Orville.
The other birds laugh and say that I'm daft, and I am.
You're not.
I am. They tease me a lot and call me a clot, and I am.
You're not.
I am.
Look, Orville,
Yes?
nothing that you can say will change how I feel today. I know that we'll never part. Now hear what I'm saying, Orville.
Yes?
Who is your very best friend?
You are.
I'm gonna help you mend your broken heart.
Thank you. 'Cause I've got a broken heart, haven't I?
Yes, I know, but I'm gonna help you mend it.
You will do it, won't you? You help me.
Of course.
'Cause you love me, don't you?
We all love you, Orville.
How much do you love me?
Oh, this much.
As much as that?
Yeah.
Oh, my broken heart.
That was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. That was Keith Harrison Orville with I Wish I Could Fly. And Keith Harrison Orville and I Wish I Could Fly. And we're here with John Perkins and the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show. We're hearing John's selection of classic tracks. Why that one, John? What was it with Orville?
Well, I think that sums up my aspirational life.
Sorry.
It sums up. Well, it's got its heart on it.
It's aspirational. Is that what you're
It's got
saying?
its heart on its sleeve.
Yeah,
Or its,
okay.
Its heart on its wing.
Yeah, it's aspirational in that he's wishing he could do something. He wishes he could reach for the stars, and that's where
Yeah.
you were when you reached for the stars. And you know, I suppose that's the connection. That's what I'm getting as an
Yeah.
outsider. Is that right?
It's spot on there, Dave.
Yeah.
Daniel. I mean, Anti-Duhring Battalion.
Yeah, whatever you want to call me. Just want to interrupt slightly. Anti-Duhring Battalion, as you know, does appear in regularly on the stand-up circuit. So if anybody's around tonight at 7:30, come and catch the all-new Anti-Duhring Battalion act at Party Piece in the Ophelia pub, which is at 574 Kingsland Road, London E8 4AR. So do you think that you might come along, John, to that?
Why not? Anti-Duhring Battalion. Why not? I mean, it's just up the road from me. The Ophelia pub. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Hackney.
Yeah.
Dalston,
Kingsland. Yeah.
Kingsland Road.
Also,
Why not?
Sophie Johnson, the comedian Sophie Johnson, is there. Somebody I met before at an industry event, incidentally. She was at the British Comedy Guide. event just before Christmas where we met, and she's actually going to be performing as well. So it'll be well worth anybody who's in the area, or even if you're not in the area, it'd be very well worth you to travel into the area specifically to come to this. It's going to be Anti-Duhring Battalion live with also other comedian Sophie Johnson, and we really strongly recommend that you do go. I am definitely going to go to that show. That's one I won't miss. That's for sure. And okay, so John, we're moving on to your next chosen track. Now this one is one which is a slightly different, again from the bird theme. This one is more kind of like anti-authoritarian that I get. It's "Smash the Village" by The Air. Why'd you pick that track, John?
Well, sometimes we have to just say, go for it.
Go for it. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Don't worry what people think of you.
Yeah.
Don't worry what the authority says. Just go for it and be your own person.
Right. I mean, I find this song, it's got quite a sinister undertone. This is The Air live. It's got a very sinister undertone. It's got a very kind of like dramatic kind of riff to it. Let's hear the track and then we'll talk about it after. Thanks. Okay. So here we go.
No, this is called Smash the Village.
Oh, Smash the Village. Rise up, smash the village, fix to a blocker, kill the treasure, and smash the village now.
Okay, that was The Air with Smash the Village. It was one of the requests of our guest today, John Perkins, who's in the studio with us today, talking to playing us some of the tracks that really influenced him through his career in as a Hollywood legend. And John is actually here with us to review some of the current stories that are making the headlines. So, John, we're actually looking at the Watchtower, and any stories in there, John, which you particularly wanted to talk about?
Well, the one that just stands out, which I only just looked at, is talk to your teenager without arguing.
Right.
And that's it, And basically, this woman talks about her daughter. She would say to her, "It's time to eat dinner," and she would say, "I'll eat it when I feel like it." This is a daughter, and then she'd say, "Have you finished your chores?" And she would say, "Stop bugging me." A few times.
I mean, so what you're saying, what you're describing there is complete breakdown of the family.
chaos,
chaos.
but extremely dysfunctional situation, which you know, what I can only describe would only lead to a psychiatric intervention.
Yeah, I mean, what you're basically saying that it's a family. It's
crisis.
A family broken down. It's a family crisis. It's real trouble. It's a family affair, basically, isn't it?
It is. It's chaos. It's horror. It's terrible.
Well,
and
it's a family affair.
family affair.
Child grows up to be somebody that just loves to learn, and another child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn. Mom loves the both of them. You see, it's in the blood. Both kids are good and bound. Blood thicker than the mud. It's a family affair. It's a family affair. Oh, no bad. What no bad. Still checking each other out. Hey, nobody won't.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show on London Hot Radio. We hope you have a fantastic week. You've been listening to the Anti-Duhring Battalion radio show with Hollywood legend John Perkins. I'm very sorry that we didn't manage to, we didn't have time for the £15,000 competition which we promised earlier in the show. Of course, that will move into a rollover. sorry, there's no air in here. Sorry, that will move into a rollover next week when we'll have a bit more time. Obviously, having a Hollywood legend has kind of like upset some of the strategies. We had a lot of calls in. Thanks for all our callers. Thanks for everybody to listening. Have a fantastic week. This is Anti-Duhring Battalion live on London Hot Radio. And make sure you get down to Party Piece tonight, 7:30, in the Ophelia Pub, Dalston, Kingston. Well, I think that was a very nice hour. I think the listeners will have really enjoyed that. John, thank you very much. We can't thank you enough. Obviously, we'll be speaking to your agent a bit later on. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
we
Dave.
will be taking you out for that lunch, I'm sure. Okay, so I don't know. You this was one track that we never got to play, John. It's that track, War and Peace. So do you want to hear it now?
Go for it.
Okay, let's just play it.